Welcome back. Better Than a Let's Play episode 6. I'm Enigmius, and today we're busy. We're busy all over the damn place. Last episode we had a little bit of a talk, and in the process of having that talk, I kind of leveled out my front lawn here. And then I decided that I didn't have enough sugar, so I planted a bunch. I don't expect this is going to stay here for very long. I don't like it here, but there's a lot of it, so I can just kind of pull it all up and store it somewhere. Otherwise, I just have that little group over there, which tends to be a little bit on the small side. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time talking about landscaping here, and I'm out here at night, actually, for a very specific reason. You can see here we've got the triple towers way up in the air. That was my hut, my original hut, and I haven't had a chance to empty out the chests yet, so I just left them there. I got rid of obviously the walls and the roof and all that other stuff, but the furnaces and the chests are still kind of up in the air. We're actually going to go around the backside of the shenanigan here, and I have to do that because, and there we go. All that just to take off. But we're good. We're fine. We're going around the back. So here's the back side of the tower as it currently exists. You can kind of see the top way up there. You can see that I've been putting in some windows, mostly because I had some stuff going in up top and I wanted to make sure that it was spaced properly. There's the nether portal, of course. And then we've got these glowing bits up here, which I very much like where they are. That's a redstone energy conduit running from one mini tower to the other. And the ME cable, the matter energy cable for applied energistics, I barely managed to say that, is also running across. And I'm pretty sure it's just the redstone energy conduit that's glowing. But I really like it because, as we were talking about in the last episode, the inspiration was something otherworldly for this structure, so I don't mind having tech-related things spanning across like that. I just wanted to show you that at night so that you could appreciate the whole glowing effect. It's not a big deal, but sometimes with designs like this, every little bit helps. Now we got to go inside, and I want to show you a few changes before we get around to any kind of building or other shenanigans. You can see my flag. I didn't have the heart to ruin my flag, so I just kind of left it there. The beehive. Haven't decided if I'm going to be doing much, if anything, with bees this time around, so it's not hurting anything there, floating a few blocks up in the air, so I decided to leave it. There used to be a door, obviously, up here that we would get in and out, and as soon as I got rid of all of the extra dirt and stuff that was lying around, in order to get into the door, I would have had to either make a new way of getting up there, or I would have to fly, which wasn't very good. And also, when you first came into the building from that door, into the tower, there was a staircase actually down to the main level, which is right here. You can see the machines and the lava tanks and stuff in here. I decided that that just wasn't working. So we've got a new door down here. We've got the redstone lamps lighting it, and that's where we're getting basically all of our light. Outside down here on the ground is from those lamps. And this will eventually be the central room for the facility. If I've got stuff to do, if I'm gathering materials for a project, whatever, most of the stuff that I will need will be in here. Now, obviously, I've still got stuff to move around. We're very much in transition, which is fine. But I think this is going to be about a perfect-sized room because you can fit quite a lot in a room this size without it feeling cramped and without having to feel like you're running all the time just to get back and forth between the various different machines and storage devices and whatnot. This here is actually, these blocks are what are containing the source blocks for my aqueous accumulators. There's one of the accumulators there. These will be going away soon. This here is my partitioner thing, my ME partition editor that I'll be using to set up my drives once I get them done. These are all the different components. My major project these last couple of days has been working towards a better storage solution. So I've got some deep storage units here ready to set up as soon as I kind of figure out where I want to put everything. I've got the beginnings of my applied energistic storage network coming into place here. It's kind of a, I won't say it's expensive because the materials aren't necessarily hard to find for the applied energistic stuff, but nether quartz, man, I had almost a full stack, and I'm like, I got this. I'm like totally good on nether quartz, and I ran out so fast. So I had to make another trip to the nether specifically for nether quartz. I've got almost another full stack, and that should get me started. I mean, obviously, I've made most of the machines that I need, and I've got, you know, the ME cable bridging the gap you saw outside, plus I've got 7 here. So I don't need to make a ton more before I'm ready to start setting it up, but I'm not there yet. We're working on it. So this, I mentioned previously, we had that prototype staircase that I realized I didn't like at all. And I said I had another idea in mind, and this is it. This is not a new idea. This isn't obviously my idea. Other people came up with this idea long before I did, but I absolutely love it because, first of all, it looks really neat. And also, it's highly functional. Now, remember, the goal for this staircase for a tower this size is it's all well and good to assume that I'm always going to have my power suit where I can just fly up and down between the floors, but what happens if something happens and I die? For example, say I die in a pool of lava, I have to rebuild a new suit, or I die and I have to run back and pick up my suit. How am I going to get up and down the tower if I've built it around the assumption that I can fly? So this is the alternate solution, which I don't think there's anything really downstairs. No, you can see there's bedrock down there. It just goes all the way down. But I guess I could show you very quickly. See, this is the energized glowstone. And you can't swim in it. Like, I can't go up, but it slows my descent. And it gives me a buff, a speed buff, and a jump buff. We can take a look here. Speed and jump boost. It doesn't last very long. It's not a big deal. But the main thing is you can breathe in it. So if I have no gear whatsoever, no way of flying, no way of expediting my way up the water, I can step off to the side here, and at the very least, if I miss, if I go all the way out the water, make a mistake like that, this thing is going to slow my fall. It's going to allow me to catch a gulp of air, and then I can go back into the water and continue up. Now, this little structure here was actually built for the purpose strictly of making sure that these streams of liquid were going to work without making a mess. If you've ever messed around with the energized glowstone, you know that as soon as you place this source block on the ground, one of the first things it does is the source block itself starts rising up into the air, and also it starts to fan out, so you get like a plus-shaped design in midair instead of a steady stream. So the way this is set up is the source block is actually under this block of cobblestone right here, and then these two blocks on either side make sure that it doesn't fan out, and it comes out here and it goes up in a nice single stream. And then this hole here with the cobblestone around it catches the water so that it doesn't spread out on the floor. So there's actually a purpose to this little cobblestone structure. And I'm actually quite pleased with it. So I don't have to fly to get up and down, but I do have the swim speed boost on my modular power suit, so it's fairly quick and easy to get up and down. Now you can see this is the previous main floor that we're slowly sort of clearing out. This was where the staircase was, so that's gone already. It made it look much cleaner and tidier, but still everything else is stored in gold chests until I get the proper storage system set up. So beyond that, there's not much else that I've done in the central tower. We've still got our nether portal. We've got kind of a floor here with absolutely nothing in it. And then this whole staircase thing stops a ways from the very top of the structure because that's as far as the liquid energized glowstone wants to go. Now, we've got obviously two little towers that have been containing the focus of my efforts, and you can tell I'm still learning my way around because I'm derping all over the place. This tower here will be, it's basically set aside right now for anything and everything to do with handling items. So this is where my storage system is going to go, and I haven't earmarked it for anything else. Obviously it's fairly large. You can barely see the top with the glass. The end of the stone all the way up there, and then you've got the bedrock down there. The entrance to the mine shaft is right there. Very large tower, so I don't expect that this whole thing is going to be taken up with storage. But if I wanted to set up like an elaborate automatic crafting system or whatever, plenty of room for that. It's a thing, it's not a big deal. And then over here, we have the coke ovens, the blast furnace, and a steel tank holding creosote oil because my coke ovens actually did fill up, and if I didn't drain them I would have had to either break them or empty out the creosote oil in buckets before I could continue to use them. So we've got that set up down there. All the way up here we have the lava tank. It's a steel tank. It's a, I think, pretty sure it's a 7x7. I thought about making it a 9x9 and actually having the walls of the tank visible as part of the walls for the tower, but I decided against it. I can always change it if I want to, but for now I was just happy to get it in and done and get away from it. And then up here we see I'm set up to start using this to generate the Minecraft jewels for my facility. We've got liquiducts coming out here that would supply lava to engines that would be putting their Minecraft jewels into this redstone energy conduit. There's an energy cell there to receive it as well. And then this is where they go across the front of the larger tower, all the way over there. Now, this ME cable right now exists specifically for the purpose of supplying netherrack to the magma crucibles that make the lava that will run this whole thing. Get a better look of it over here. We've got the magmatic engines that receive lava from the tank. So they're basically, it's a perpetual energy machine. As long as we've got netherrack and we keep an eye on everything, this thing will constantly be producing lava, which can be converted into Minecraft jewels for our facility. So that's the deal. That's what I've been working on, is getting this all set up. And now I've been able to focus a little bit more on getting the machines and such ready to start putting together the storage system, which will probably be the next episode or the episode after, depending on what's going on. But for now, I needed something to do that was a little more interesting than another tour, so I decided to mess around with Forge Multipart. I originally decided that I wanted to try and use quarried stone cut up into covers and various different bits to do some aesthetic work on the outside of the tower, but unfortunately that didn't work. So I settled for wool. I've got plenty of wool covers. I've actually got some saws downstairs here, and it's a good idea for me to did I put them here, or did I put them? No, I put them upstairs. It's a good idea for me to carry them around, because once the bulk of the detailing goes in, then we get down to the smoothing and the adjusting and the finding of, there we go. I've got a saw and a diamond saw. We're going to leave that, and a saw. So we've seen the inside, we've talked about what we're doing, and now let's go make the towers a little bit more pretty. So the first step in what turned out to be a grand aesthetic experiment was to get some windows into the main tower on the south side where the water is. Not because I necessarily wanted the windows in now, but because whatever I was doing on the outside would be adversely affected if I decided that I wanted to go around later and add windows. So by having them in now is just kind of finalizing that one step of the construction process, getting the windows into place, and then whatever I do outside can stay. It doesn't have to be disrupted when I get around to finishing the whole window shenanigans. So you can see I've got little ledges there, basically marking where the floors will eventually be. But now we're outside, obviously. And one of the things that I decided I wanted to do, first of all, was I put a little bit of sand in the water right where the building met the water, so that it looked like this white wool that I'm putting up the sides of the tower was actually maybe carried down further underground than you see here. If I had left the water, I would have had to put the wool covers in the water, and then it would have displaced the water and it would have looked like crap. So that was a thing. Now, I didn't want just blocky wool in wonky lines going up the sides of the towers. I wanted to use the Forge Multipart to smooth out the blockiness, and unfortunately I found out that Forge Multipart doesn't work the way that I thought I did, which is not necessarily a failing on the part of Forge Multipart. It was a learning lesson, which means in the next episode we're going to talk about how to smooth out the edges the way I wanted to, give you a better idea how this thing is going to look when it's done, because it's going to be either a challenging puzzle to put together to make it look the way I want it to, or it's going to be a disappointing hindrance based on limitations of the mod. One or the other. And I haven't got to the point now where I'm, blaming it all on the mod. So we're going to blame it on me for now. And in the next episode, we'll have time to go over in detail exactly what's wrong and how we're going to fix it. So enjoy the rest of this view of the towers at night. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can do that. You can also follow me on Twitter at Enigmius1. Leave your comments and feedback below. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.